custom battles. So Hyrule Historia, they are not. I included all the missions, but there are no videos included, and none of the missions will work except mission 71, which is the final battle against Majora. That's the only one I could make working. So you have the mission 71 that you can play in this version of Hyrule Total War without the videos, because it didn't work when I had the code for videos in the game. When I removed the code for videos, the mission started to work. And I tried to make the others work, but they didn't start no matter what. So. And we have, if you want to play the older missions, the Ancient Age, the Rise of Ganon, and the Gerudo Wars, then you need to play Classic Ultimate. But if you want to play the Twili missions, Twilight Realm missions, then you can't play them because they are not playable anywhere. And if you want to play the Fallen Sage missions, you can't play them either, because they are intended for this version of the mod, but didn't work. They are included here too, but do not work. Can't enter. You are thrown back to the main menu. Okay, custom battle. So here I've fixed some stuff. So in disable, we have heroes and mercs. Disabled, no mercs. No heroes, no mercs, and enabled. So disabled means that you only have the core troops of the factions, no heroes and no mercenaries. No heroes means that you have the core troops and all the mercenaries, but you have no heroes. No mercs means you have the core troops and all the heroes, but you do not have any mercenaries. And enabled means you have everything enabled. You can't use enabled with Majora. They will crash, because if you have more than 199 units in custom battle, it will crash. And Majora has probably all units in the game, almost. So they would crash if they had too many there. But you can use disabled, no mercs or no heroes for Majora. For everyone else you can use enabled as well. So we'll check disabled first. Here are the custom battle maps, by the way. I haven't added any new ones. So if you check the faction rosters with disabled, no heroes and no mercenaries, we check all of them. You can only check, I believe, 7 at a time. No, 8 at a time, including the player. So 7 AI factions. So the Kingdom of Hyrule. You can see that I removed the Uka units because they were OP. Removed the Uka Commandants and the Uka Surveyors and the Walker Cannons. And I also removed the Silent Stalkers and the second unit of the Goddesses. They didn't fit here. They are included as mercenaries instead, because some other factions didn't have OP units like that, so it would be weird. And also I saw that we checked the other factions. Most factions have only the same number of units, so 8 units in a row. So this means they have 12 units without heroes, most of the factions. So it was unfair when the King of Hyrule had the Uka units and the Goddess units, but the Kokiri, for example, didn't have that and only had their core troops. So I removed the OP units, so now they have only their core troops in the disabled era. So if you play disabled, you will only have the core troops of every faction, which is more fair. No heroes, no mercenaries, and no OP units. Okay, they are very balanced. So the Kokiri and the King of Hyrule with their new rosters. You can see that the units are pretty much the same. Recruits, Kingdom Infantry, Town Guards, Castle Guards, Hyrulean Knights, Flail Knights, Ironclad Elites, Kingdom Crossbowmen. Some names are different. Mounted Recruits, Mounted Knights, Highland Ripichettes, and Repeated Crossbows. So most of them are the same, used with different models and different names for some of them. And also, there are no females in the Kingdom of Hyrule roster here. So the women got cut, which I was kind of negative about in the beginning. I didn't like that the females were cut, but yeah, otherwise they have better models. The Kokiri, they are still a mix between men and women, or girls and boys. I mean, they have the same units: Detachment, Minutemen, Madmen of Farron, Grove Watchers, Korok Counselors. It's a new one, but the old one was just named differently. We have the slingshots, emerald archers, Wolfus riders with a really cool new mount. The new Wolfus looks more like a giant werewolf. The old one was like in Twilight Princess, a wolf. Okay, Decker trees, shrines of courage, bullshot, and madman mantlet. So the same roster, just HD models. The Gyarados with HD models. Some differences here too. You won't read every single unit name here. You can see the rosters. Then we have the Gohma, essentially the same roster, just with HD models. Really cool roster. The Gorons, the same roster essentially, but with the Gorons being very small instead of all of them being large or big. So they are smaller, but otherwise it's the same roster pretty much. And the Udona province, very similar roster to the old one, slightly different. There are some differences to this roster compared to the old one. Okay, and they lost their second siege. They only have one siege, the catapult. They lost the cool other Volcanian siege with a unique projectile. I added that projectile to the dragon, the undead dragon, Stalwart of Stalfos. So they do have that projectile of the old Udona siege. It's still in the files, the projectile. Okay, that's pretty cool. Team 4, the Sword Dominion. So we have a new Sword Dominion army. It's essentially the same roster. Different models, some new cavalry units. Like the big Octus Spark pikes. Lanayur province, the same roster with HD models essentially. They do not have the crab melee cavalry anymore. That's a difference, I guess. Otherwise pretty much the same. Then when we click on no heroes, you get to see all their mercenaries. You can see that some of the mercenaries are using the old models, and most of them have been updated into HD models. The Huron soldiers still using the old models. Same with the Huron mystics. So Huron weren't changed. They only had 2 different human models plus a 3. None of them were updated. And then we have the Keatons, they have been updated. We have the Tukey, they have been updated. We have the Sabrosian, they are still old. They had 4 units. They have the Moldom Swarms, the Ore Miners, and the Ore Knights, and they have the Moldom Riders, I believe. But I believe the Moldom Swarms are no longer a part of this faction. I believe they are rebels, creatures, and then the other 3 units are still used by Sabrosian. But they have the old models, just like Huron. Well, the Tukey are now HD, and the Keatons are HD. The Gyarados pirates are old, so they weren't updated despite the Gyarados faction being updated. Okay, then the Suna, they have new HD models. Have added Rosa to this version. She was kind of in 4.6 in the campaign and in custom battle. She had the portrait, she had the name, she had the unit and try. She didn't have her model. Had to add the battle model from classic. It was missing. She didn't have a unique officer model in battle, which I've added now. Okay, fix some cards, like Veskora's card was wrong, and so on. Cranrich Gorons, they are new, same with the Storm Sora, so they are of course HD, same with the Hounds, the Puis. And yeah, we have the heroes of the minor factions, the Master of Ordai, High Vizier of the Suna, Talu Tukey Big Boss or Princess of the Tukey, or Veskora, the leader of the Rolling Ridge Gorons minor faction. We have Halter, the leader of the Keaton Cartel. Uko, the leader of the Uka, was added. We have Marketproof Huron, Mag Sailor of the Tempest, Beersot, Mother of Tyrants, the Giant Dragon. We have Malon, the only old hero still here. Ashe is no longer a mercenary, and Link is not a mercenary neither, so we have Malon still unchanged. Check the Kokiri, They also have mercenaries. Most of the mercenaries are the same for every faction. There might be some difference. One unit or so might be different here and there. You can see that the silent guards and the silent stalkers are available as mercenaries. Also the Uka commandants, the Uka surveyors, and the hero Uko and the walker cannons. They are not available to every faction, like the Kokiri do not have them. The Kokiri have the forest thieves, which are like Kokiri that have left the forest. When they leave the forest in lore, they grow up and become older. So that's why they are older, but that's a little bit ironic, because when you play the Kokiri and conquer the rest of Hyrule, they are leaving the forest, but they won't grow up. But anyway, maybe it takes a few years before they grow up. But anyway, they have some different marks, like the forest blinds and the forest thieves and such. Maybe a Huskus unit too. Pretty sure that the Huskus mercenary unit is not updated. The Huskus bounty hunters. But the other Huskus units are updated, like the Huskus priestess cast. Okay. The Deka monkeys are still old. Okay. The rogue Hylians are cut. We also have some heroes here. Palagard, High Empress Tamako, the Huskus remnants. So yeah, there are some different mercenaries for every faction. Okay, that's the only difference, that they have access to mercenaries when we have no heroes enabled. No mercs. Let's check that for every faction. So, the Kingdom of Hyrule. So in this version, we had Princess Zelda 5, Ralina, Noens and Zelda 5. We have Link, Hero of Time, Heir of King Gustav. We have the father of Princess Zelda 5, King Kazak, formerly General Kazak. And then you have Rauru, Sage of Light, Sage of Time in the game Ocarina of Time. So you have these four. These are the core heroes of the Kingdom of Hyrule in 4.7, 4.6 and 4.7. I added Fi as a new hero for the Kingdom of Hyrule. She could probably have been a mercenary, but I added her as a hero for Hyrule. She's the essence of the Master Sword, Link's sword. It made sense that she would be in Hyrule. Then I added Princess Marala, Noens and Zelda 3 as a custom battle only hero for the Kingdom of Hyrule, using the Patreon Zelda model, which is using like a skin from Hyrule Warriors, the game. It's not taken from Hyrule Warriors, it's based on Hyrule Warriors but made by Undying Nephalim, so she has like the proper look for this mod, just with all the facial features, so that looks a bit off, but the point is that it fit in custom battle as a bonus hero. She's not in the campaign because she's long dead. The campaign starts with Zelda 5 at the helm. She is in the campaign for Majora after she has been resurrected from the dead. More on that later. Okay, so we have two more heroes here, Fi and Zelda 3 in custom battle. In the campaign we have only Fi out of these two. And we have the Kokiri, they are unchanged. They have their heroes in custom battle too. The Ek3, Majora, Mido, and Saria. Then we have the Gerudo, they have Ganondorf, Nabooru, Katak and Com and Kotak. Okay, and no changes. Done. Gohma, they have been changed a bit. They have the old heroes. So Karis the Fallen Sage using the ugly model, and Infested Mido, Infested Agita, and Matriarch, the spider, the original heroes of the faction. And then they got Karis the Fallen Sage, the ancient version. She was in the game in 4.6, the new HD model and new card and everything, but she was commented out of the custom battles, for she is in custom battle now. So I didn't see the point of not having her in custom battle. And if this version of Sulcaris, the ugly version, dies in the campaign, she will turn into this one. So she's in the campaign and in custom battle, which is a difference from 4.6. Then the Gorons, they have the Ruinian Siege of Fire, Big Ron, King Dodongo, King of the Dodongos, and then Goro the General. And no changes. The Dodona Province, We have Mirbo, Ilya the horse breeder, Russell the swordsman, and Ashe mercenary, but she's no longer a mercenary. Okay, no changes. They lost the Nara, the ranger that they had in the old version of the mod. So one hero got cut there. And the Sora's Dominion. They have Farkas, Ruto, Celine, and Telara as heroes. No changes. Then your province, they have Queen Rutula, Prince Rallis, Marshal Lydia, and Larto. No changes. We're back in the beginning. Okay, let's check the other heroes. I mean the other factions. So, Lanir Province, the Deku Scrubs, the Moblins, Dark Knight Legion, the Lisselfoss, Labrina Regime, Fairies of Tarm, the Stalfos Undead, and the Shreka Kader. You see that this faction is completely different from in the previous mods. Versions of Hyrule War, but the same as in 4.6. No changes here. You have the same number of units, most of the factions. Here is the new Labrinian army. You have Home Guards, the policemen of the regime, Pioneers, the workers, Conquerors, the gunners, Toki slaves. They are still in the game, but now they only have one Toki unit. No cannon fodders anymore. Then we have Knights of Ambi, Palace Watch, Border Guards, Hand Cannoneers, which was a new unit in this mod that I ported to the other mod but used the old model for the actual gunner. Okay, and they have Blue Dragoons. They've been new for this mod. They ported the mount to the other mod and added the old model as the rider. And they have steam tanks, they have cannons, but they have been updated to fit the new style. The steam tank is not as big anymore and looks more like the Warhammer tank and the World War I tank, and the cannons are more like normal cannons and not as big anymore. Then they have Rebalderquin Siege, so they are new for this mod. Then we have the Moblins, and they have men of the same units, the Bokoblin Rabble, Dodoblin Squaddies, Mav of Moblins, Miniblin Tormentors, Derpablin Defenders. There are some new ones here too. Moblin Grunts, Big Blin Wreckers, Balblin Tugs, Moblin Ox Bombers, Balblin Bow Riders, and Hinox. And they have the Moblin Catapults. They lost one of their siege engines, but it was pretty bad anyway. It was just bad for morale of enemies. And they have some really cool additions. They lost the Forest Blins. It's a mercenary now instead. Available probably if they go to the Kokiri Forest. Okay. The Fairies, they have a completely different roster. They have 4 different great fairy units that are different. They are available based on the season. You have like winter and spring, summer and fall. And depending on the season you get different ones with different colors, otherwise the same model. You have Strider, Siege, and Gates of Tarm, Siege. Then you have Fairy Drow. They are used instead of many different smaller fairies. And then you have a lot of infantry like the Strays with really good defense, the Banded, the Banshees. All of these were ported to Classic Ultimate, but weren't originally in the old mod. We have the Mad Mystics, they were ported too. Phantoms of Tarm, didn't replace them. Had an older model in the other version. Then you have some new models. The Mistwalkers were ported. Only range unit that I ported. So they have some new models and some old models. Mostly new, very different faction here compared to in the old version. And the Dark Knight Legion, they are very different. They have way more basic troops and way less of the heavy troops. They had almost only elite troops in the previous version and no cavalry and no range units. In Classic Ultimate I added the cavalry from this mod actually, the Linear Pride and the Rebonax. And they also had a Mesura since before, the 2-legged cavalry of the old mod. And then in this I also took this Idle Throne unit and to boost morale, and they added the light armored units to the Gimli tie and the hoplites and the peltasts, but otherwise they didn't add replacements for the Fukka knights. Here they are called Fukka Hippas Pest instead. Legionnaires, there are replacements, I didn't add them. Masura's Hippicon, they are infantry here, they were the cavalry in the old version. I kept the cavalry there, so I didn't add these guys. And Järna Fencers, Doom Knockers, etc. So I added some of the new ones to the Classic Ultimate submod, but not all of them. I have a smaller roster here because they only have the HD roster. They don't have the any units from the old roster here. So it's not a mix. Okay, and it's different because they have very fewer of the heavy infantry units. If you have played Classic Ultimate or any of the classic versions, you know that the Dark Knight Legion were the strongest faction. If played by the AI on the map, they would always dominate because they had almost only really heavy infantry elite troops. But in this version they are more balanced, even have some range units, the javelin throwing troops. They also have access to a lot of mercenaries in the campaign of different factions like the Suna, the Tuki, etc. Minor factions, and mercenaries like the Daira, Marauders, or the Keatons, the Forest Thieves. So yeah, they are very different. Then we have the Undead. I ported the Siege to Classic Ultimate, the Corpse Tossers and the Bone Catapults. I also ported the Stålhounds, the Undead Dogs, because the old Stålhounds didn't do any damage to enemies except when they charged. These were better. They had one model for the head and one model for body, allowing them to attack in melee, while the other model had just one model for both the head and body, so they couldn't attack in melee. So I replaced the dog with this one, and I added the Siege, and then I added the neutral units. I added the Lost Souls, this unit. So I added these units to the Classic Ultimate Summon. I also added the Stålrat in neutral. I added the Battle Forged and the Stålmasters. I added all of these 7 units and kept all the old ones too. But in this version we have a new version of the Stål troops that I didn't add, and a new version of the Redeads. And we also have a new versions of the Stalkin and the Bubbles and the Sky Lords. The Sky Lords look really badass here, by the way. And the Redeads are undead Shrika prisoners thrown into the Shadow Temple, twisted by Deetle. Stalkin, they are undead Kokiri. Bubbles are undead fairies. Stall troops are just undead humans of different origin. Sky Lords, they are undead Wizzrobe, pretty much. Undead mages. Yeah, undead Wizzrobe or undead Hylian mages. Okay, so the Stalfos, they have 7 units that are shared with Classic Ultimate, and the rest are completely different, and I didn't get all the different races represented here because this mod doesn't have the necromancy script in every region and area and such. Okay, Team 4, the Listalfos, they have a new roster, mostly the same units. They have the same Siege, Carcass catapults and poison spear launchers with new models, and they have the Predators. So some of the models have new names, but pretty much the same role as in the other mod. Predators, Songsayers, Eralfos, Iganalfos, Dinalfos Butchers, Darkhammers, Treehoppers, Dinalfos Footmen, Trappers, and Helmasora Trackers. So yeah, they have essentially very similar roster with new models and new names. Some different projectiles maybe. Very cool new Listalfos roster. Then we have the Shreka, Kader. They have Ghoul Rats, they have new hair, and Murder of Crows. I added these to the Classic Ultimate submod because they were neutral. Then I also added the Protectors. They didn't really fit, but I added them because I had enough space. They also looked kinda neutral. These two, the Hawkeye Archers were added. So I added these 4 to the Classic Ultimate submod. They were new for this mod. Then we have the same Siege with new models. We have the Monks, Druid Bearers, Protectors, Battlefield Assassins, Interrogators, blood wizards and devoured. So the truth bearers were the bodyguard of Impa in the old version, but here he decided to use the protectors instead. I think the truth bearers are probably much better, but that's a change in this mod. Maybe Impa would be better if she used this one. She isn't currently. Then we have the soldiers Fagnim. They were edited out in the custom battles. I re-added them. They were in the edu file, export SK unit file of the 4.6 version, but they weren't really available in the custom battles because they had no custom attribute. They enabled them here and added them to the campaign for the Church of Majora and the Shrika. Their card looks a bit different than the rest, but yeah. They are Shrika unit, specifically the bodyguard of Lord Aghanim, and he also had an army of them. And that's all the units here. You can check their heroes. So the heroes of the tribes. So this faction is unchanged. Labrina, their heroes, unchanged. Moblins, they have been changed a bit. So they had King Ganon himself. They had General Ogalon, the female general, Moblin general, and King Bulblin, king of the Bulblins. Okay, and then they had Demise, with the demon form Demise. Demon form Demise with the humanoid form. They added the other demon form of Demise to custom battle. He was in the export SK unit file, the edu file. So I uncommented the unit and re-enabled him in custom battle. And if he is killed in the campaign, as I said, he will become this one. So they are both in the campaign and in custom battle. They also had to gear him to both. So they have two new heroes in custom battle, Girahim and the old demon Demise. He's not an HD model, but looks good enough. Okay, Fairies of Tarm. They have the Fairy Queen, Venus the Mad, Desire the Scared, and Essence of Tarm. No changes. This faction is bigger in size than other factions because they had so many different variations of the Great Fairies here. If we do not count them, they should be about the same. Okay, Team 3, Dark Nuts. Yeah, they had Salenbar, Godflesh, Yaraxonal, Sage of Spirits, no, Sage of Wind or something, I believe. Yeah, Sage of Winds. And then we have Vati the Sorcerer and Centron the Dark Knight. And Vati has Vati Brat enabled in custom battle and will turn into Vati Brat if he is killed in the campaign. It's a new hero. And then on the Stalfos we had Lord Acaso and the Donox, Star-Lord, and Malmord, which is undead. It's really so we added Detail to the campaign and custom battle, and they also have Trinex, Lord of Turtle Rock, in custom battle. So Trinex is a unique hero of the Lizalfos in the campaign, but in custom battle he is shared with the Stalfos, the Lizalfos. He's shared between the Stalfos, the Lizalfos, and the Shreka, because in the manga of The Legend of Zelda, I believe he was in the Shreka faction, and then there was another medium, a game or something, where he was in the Stalfos faction, and then in Nep's lore he's in the Lizalfos faction in Hyrule Conquest. So he fits in the Lizalfos the most, but he could be in the Stalfos and in the Shreka too, if we base it on the official game or on the official manga. But in Hyrule Conquest he is in the Lizalfos, and I based the campaign on the Hyrule Conquest lore. But in custom battle I allowed him to be in all three. So they have two more giant heroes, the Stalfos, Detail, and Trinex. And we have the Lissalfos. They also have Trinex as a new hero, otherwise the same. Neither the white, usually the green, Talc, the red, and back to winged. So Trinex is the only new thing here. The Sheikah, they have Lord Aghanim, Saint, Impa the Killer, Sage of Shadows, Sheik, Bongo Bongo, and now they also have Trinex as an extra in custom battle. And they have the Soldiers of Aghanim as an extra unit in custom battle. And that's those factions. Need to go back, disabled, and check the other factions. We have Order of the Wizzrobe. It's an HD faction. We'll check them first. The Ukka, they are an HD faction for the most part. We'll check them out too. And then we can check the older factions. The River Sora, Force of the Twilight, and the Kingdom of Ikana. Can disable these. We can also check the Church of Majora. So the Order of the Wizzrobe without the heroes. They have essentially the same units as the old roster with new models for everyone. Kingdom of Ikana. They have the old roster, same as in Classic Ultimate. But unlike in 4.6, I have re-enabled the alive units. So they have the alive Ikanian units here. Footmen alive. Gatekeepers alive. Noblemen alive. And Boltmen alive. As well as one of the battle chariots will be an alive unit too. If you don't know which one. So they have 5 new units that were removed in 4.6. Have been re-enabled for the Kingdom of Ikana. In custom battle only, they don't have access to the alive units in the campaign. So Team 2, the Ukka, they have their new units, the Ukka Commandants, the Walker Cannons, and the Ukka Surveyors. Then I re-enabled the Democan Scouts and the Democan Emissaries to the faction, so they have 5 units now instead of 3, unlike in 4.6, because I thought they had too few units. And we have the Majora faction. They have access to most factions in the game, except the Gohma, the River Sora, the Stalfos, and the Sheikah, I believe. So the River Sora, they are the same as in the old version, no changes. And then we have the Force of the Twilight, where I believe they are the same as in 4.6 here. The same army, no changes. They do not have the Shadow Assassins as a unique unit. It's a unique bodyguard of King Sand, but it's not used as a unique unit. Okay. So that's the difference between the faction here and Classic. They do not have the bodyguards as unique units for the old factions. If we check their heroes, you can see that the Order of the Wizzrobe have Hyla the Goddess, the False Goddess. They have Nostrum the Pyromancer, Supreme Cardinal, and Karok the Illusionist, Lena Velashi, the First Mage. Then I re-added Sia, which is Lana at a later stage. She was in custom battle but commented out. So I re-added her. So they have one new hero in custom battle, also available in the campaign if Lana dies, as I said. Then they have a Kingdom of Ikana, where they have the alive heroes now implemented too. Captain Kita alive, Princess Gomez alive, and King Egos to Ikana alive. So they have 3 heroes with their alive versions. They are not in the campaign. So their faction roster is really big actually when the heroes are enabled. They're the largest roster in the game. And then we have the Ukka, and with the heroes enabled we get access to Ukko 2 with a unique model. They do not have a helmet and looks different, has blue like balls instead of have pink balls instead of blue on the body. Anyway, we have the hero Ukko here. And we have Majora. They have 2 heroes. We have Princess Zelda Morella's Nuance and Zelda tree. You can read the description. Majora cultist Morella Nuance and Zelda tree is the resurrected Princess Zelda tree of Hyrule, resurrected from the dead by the dark powers of the dark god Majora himself, now leading the armies of Aghanim from Termina in the service of Majora. If you start a battle, you have an even longer text for her. Goes into more detail, but essentially she was the leader of the Kingdom of Hyrule during the Third Era, and she was killed in the Gyarados Wars by Aghanim and Ganondorf, and later she was resurrected in Termina by the powers of the Dark God Majora, and is now leading the armies of Majora, including the soldiers of Aghanim, from Termina. She's in both custom battle and in the campaign. And then we have the second hero, Majora himself. He is also in custom battle and in the campaign, as we've seen. Okay. River Sora, they have Princess Sukuf, Sarasef, Archduke Nailit, and Barada Khan, the Berserker. No changes, the same old heroes. Unlike in Classic Ultimate, they do not have any armor upgrades neither. I didn't want to change them in that sense, but I did add the new agents that I did. Strat models for, and the new general models and such, but no gameplay changes. Okay, so they are the same all of me. Then we have the Forces of the Twilight, and unlike in Classic, they do have their heroes in custom battle. And unlike in 4.6, they have more heroes in custom battle and more units. First of all, the Repentance were added to the campaign as a recruitable unit in the light building. I said it already previously when I went through the campaign. So this is a new unit in the campaign available from the light building, while the Bonewell Monks, this unit, are now unique for the dark building. And then besides that, we had, I believe, Queen Midna and Prince Sant already, and we had Una the Brave, Great Fairy Una, we had Lady Midi, and we had no other heroes. We had these 4 heroes for the Twilight faction in 4.6. And we added Dark Onyx and Argok the Dragon, 2 giants that were cut from the game in 4.6. And then the other versions of Midna and Sant were still in the game's files. They were still in the BMMDB file, Battle Models DB file, but they were not in custom battle nor in the campaign, and they weren't in the export Esker unit file neither. So I re-added them. So I added King Sant and Princess Midna and Imp Midna, and the difference is that Queen Midna and Prince Sant are using the Twili infantry bodyguard, the basic infantry bodyguard of the Twili, generic bodyguard of most generals. And then Imp Midna is using the Repentance as her bodyguard, just like in the campaign. And King Sant is using the Shadow Assassins as his bodyguard, which are essentially bigger versions, slightly different bigger versions of this unit, the Shadow Messengers, more badass bigger versions with red skins. So King Sant is using that bodyguard in both the campaign and in custom battle, but it's not added as its own unique unit like in Classic. So it's unique to Sant's bodyguard here if you play as King Sant. Prince Sant in the campaign, which is only used by the rebels if you play as Midna and fight the rebels in the Twilight Realm, then you'll fight Prince Sant with his bodyguard of Twilight Infantry. Otherwise you always have King Sant, both as the AI and as the player, and he has the cool Shadow Assassin's bodyguard. Midna in the campaign will spawn if you play as Sant on a certain turn, and she has the Repentance there too. And you can play as her if you play as the Hyrule faction, the Uruna faction, or the Hyrule faction, and she spawns randomly as either Princess Midna or Midna. And I said this before, but they will spawn randomly, and if she's Imp, she has the Repentance, and if she's Princess Midna, she will have the Shadow Messengers actually as her bodyguard. So they have different bodyguards, the heroes. These two have only the basic generic one, while and you do use Queen Midna if you play as Midna, but you can play as Princess Midna randomly if you play as Hyrule or Duna or the Lanir province. And then you get the Shadow Messengers as the bodyguard instead, and a different model. I believe Queen Midna, this is Queen, I meant the Princess. So the Queen Midna shows her hair and stuff and has a Twili crown. Well, this Princess Midna doesn't have the crown and is kind of hiding her hair under some kind of garment. Okay, and then we have Midna there with Repentance and Sand, the unique bodyguard. So you have way more heroes in custom battle if you play the Twilight faction in 4.7 compared to 4.6. In Classic Ultimate there are no heroes in custom battle because I cut all of them to get more troops into the campaign, because it's more of a mix between the classic models and the HD models. Well, this is just using the HD models except for the factions that were never remade, like the Twili here. So I re-added all the versions of Midna and Sand and added the cut content, so they are also very large. Look at this faction and then you look at the Kingdom of Ikana. See that they're almost as big. The Ikana faction is slightly bigger. Of course, no one is as big as the Church of Majora. Okay. And that's all the factions here. I believe that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21, 20, so there are 22 factions in total. Then there are some minor factions, the Suna, the Sabrosian, the Tukei, the Huskus Remnants, the Huronians, the Hounds, Rolling Ridge Gorons, and Storm Sora. And they are all unplayable, including the Uka, by the way. But the Uka are available in custom battle here. They are not playable in the campaign. Okay, and yeah, that's the factions. So let's just start the game and show off the unique animation, by the way, of Lana and Sia. I've added to all the generals of the Order of the Wizzrobe in both this mod and in Classic Ultimate. I had forgotten that generals of the Order of the Wizzrobe used a really cool unique animation in custom battle, because I removed the heroes of all factions, most factions in Classic, except Gaians and the Gohma humans, because they needed unique entries in custom battle, and in the campaign could use the same. They were humans that didn't fit the spider animations, couldn't be used as unique generals. We look at Sia here. We want to zoom in on the heroes. We are using the Kamek too. I've added that to both Hyrule mods. I like being able to zoom in on heroes. So this is Sia, which is Lana at a later stage. Mage. So in custom battle, in both the old version of Hyrule War and in 4.6, Sia and Lana used a unique animation, and because I removed the heroes from Classic, I didn't know about this. I didn't remember, because in the campaign they all used the normal general animation, and in 4.6 they also used the normal animation. In the campaign, you see she can move around like that, she stands still. Same with Lana Valache. So the HD model, you can clearly see that it's higher quality. There was also an older model of Lana. Pictures are released, I believe, during the summer of 2014. They are available in the Total War Center thread, but that model was never released because Undying Nephalim made this HD model and released it instead. So we never got the older model, but we did see pictures of it. And the difference is that it's less of an anime character in the face and isn't as HD. The HD models look great, but they do not look as much like anime characters. They are slightly more realistic, but they are still more animated than the very latest models, of course. Okay, so these models have unique animations. If we start the game, then we order them to walk. You can see that she floats in the air. And this was the case in the old model, in the old mod too. But I didn't know because I had removed the custom battle heroes. In the campaign they didn't use this animation where they fly. It's probably the same animation as the illusionists, I think. So I added this to all the generals of the Order of the Wizzrobe except Hylia. So all the generic generals. So there's now Sia, Nostrum, Karok and Lana will all fly in battle, and any generic Wizzrobe general. While Hylia won't, because she's a giant elephant general. Only the elephants can have unique ones, unique animations. Any normal general needs to share in the campaign. But in custom battle they don't need to share, because they are officers, and officers can have unique custom animations. If they are added as officers in the campaign, they can also have custom ones without sharing. But if they are not real generals, you will get the message that the general has been killed, and the actual generic general has been killed. Here the Ukka. This is Ukka's model. You can see she has pink colors instead of blue, and do not have a helmet. Died. The Wizzrobes there. So yeah, that cool floating animation has been added to the generals of the Order of the Wizzrobe. Another change we want to see. Let's see the Kingdom of Hyrule. The Moblins. Majora. Lisselfoss. Shreka. Force of the Twilight. Okay. The Kingdom of Ikana. And the Gohma. The way we should probably put them in correct teams. Kingdom of Hyrule. Should be in the same team as the Shreka. And Twili. Same as Majora. Same as Majora for Ikana too. Gohma should be 3. Lisselfoss could be 2. Moblins could be 2. Okay. And we want to check the heroes, so they shouldn't be disabled. Okay. So the heroes. Check all of them. Including the new ones. You don't need to check Trinex in every faction. You can check the new unit too. Right. Trinex will spawn for the Lisselfoss. The Gohma. She can be ancient, so carries as the leader. Okay. Majora himself. And Zelda. Then we have these heroes. I'll only check the new ones, maybe. No, we can check all of them. A lot of heroes. Okay, Kingdom of Ikana. Live heroes. And the live units. which one is alive out of the chariots. We'll skip them, I think. Chariot riders are invisible anyway due to the medieval total war engine order project 2, which we need to use for the guidance not to crash. Let's start the game. We need to add money to everyone. The units were too costly. Let's start the game. This is a wonderful picture. Zelda 1 with a new HD model. It was never rigged, so you don't have access to the actual model. The other ones are in the game. Impa for the Shrika and the Moblin Grunts here. Zelda 1 was the leader in the old version of Hyrule War at the start of the campaign. And in Classic Ultimate, she's the leader at the start. Because she's not the leader here, the model was never rigged, but it was made, as we can see there, used for art. Okay, probably because Nep originally planned to remake Hyrule the way it was, and then he decided to go for Zelda 5 as the leader instead. So that's Zelda 5, the bodyguard of mounted Hyrulean Knights. Zelda 5, King Kazak, bodyguard of Ironclad Elites. He has two models, one with a crown and one without. This is the one without, also used in the campaign. He's no longer king. He abdicated the throne and gave the throne to his daughter. She came of age. We have Link, here of time. Oh, I forgot that I had added Midna to the custom battle. That doesn't matter for the campaign, because I don't believe he is using Same and Try for the campaign. But he has Midna in custom battle, and it was made for the final battle, mission 71, that is playable in this version of Hyrule War. So Midna actually was fixed. I played the mission on my YouTube channel back in October, late October, and she was a silver surfer. I fixed her after that. So yeah, she's fine now. It's for a mission. She's supposed to be in the same unit as Link in the mission. She's a bonus officer here. But this unit is not used in the campaign. Link in the campaign is the general, and Midna is not a part of the unit. I would think. I must check it, but I am pretty sure. She's custom battle and Hyrule Historia only. She fit in the final battle, that's fine. Then we have Raure, the builder, Sage of Light, the bodyguard of Hyrulean Knights. And we have this Zelda. She actually has the same style as Hyrule Warriors Zelda, with the same colors and dress and such. Yeah, the model is a bit older. It's not an HD model, but it's still high poly. It needed to be lowered to make a strat model out of it. I didn't make the strat model. It was a guy, Louis Lux, that helped me with it, rigged it. So yeah, it's the old style, but the model is not that old. The new Hyrulean or Hylian roster and all the new heroes were made in February or January 2015. And this model is from October 2014, so it's only half a year older. It's like Majora Zelda when she was still alive. Okay, check our ally, the Shrika. We have the new unit, Soldier's Faghanim, with swords, also added to the Church of Majora. So this is the HD version of the Soldier's Faghanim. They were in 4.6, but we're not really in the campaign, and we're not in custom battle, except for the bodyguard of Aghanim himself. Okay, we have a Shrika officer, Lord Aghanim, another Shrika officer. So this is the new Aghanim. He has a bodyguard of those soldiers too. The others are probably invisible. They will show up when we start the battle. Let's start the battle. So the other units. This is Shriek, Zelda 4. It's a unique, cool model. Very unique model. Bongo Bongo, he looks completely different here, but it's still a single unit entity. New version of Bongo Bongo. And then we should have Impa somewhere. Here is Impa. We've seen her before. She was ported to Classic Ultimate for Hyrule. She's using the old model for the Sheikah because I wanted the same model in battle and on the map. But for the Kingdom of Hyrule, she's not using a strat model, so that's why she had this model in battle for the Kingdom of Hyrule in the later versions. Okay, so that's the Sheikah heroes. Then there are some other heroes, let's check them out. Church of Majora. She's using the bodyguard, the new ironclad elites. Really cool unit. You don't really see their faces anyway. And they have no symbols. And this is Zelda 3 after she's been resurrected by the powers of Majora. The same Zelda as the other one with the pink dress. The later stage. Majora himself, the Dark God, the biggest of the giants. The unique projectile here, he has the same projectile as the Shadow Bloats actually, because I thought it was better. He was supposed to have a unique Majora projectile, but it didn't work, it did nothing. The Orgruk the Dragon, added back, unique single unit entity. And Onyx, Dark Onyx, General Onyx. And Una is still here. She's the only one out of these three that were still in 4.6. Both Onyx got cut because he's dead at the timeline of this mod. And he's in the Stalfos, so he was cut. I used to add him because he's cool. I wanted him when playing as the Twilight faction, if I'm gonna place them. And the Orgruk Dragon is cool, unique, so I re-added him. Then we have Bone Monks. This is the bodyguard of Lady Meady, I think. Yeah, Lady Meady. She's in 4.6. Then I have a Twili infantry bodyguard here. So that's Queen Midna. No, it wasn't Queen Midna that used this bodyguard. It was Princess Midna. So Princess Midna is using the Twili infantry, generic Twili bodyguard. You can see that she doesn't have the crown of the Twili, and she has her kind of cape or whatever is covering her hair. She is the basic infantry, while Lady Meady has the Bonewell monks using the fixed texture. They look way better now than in older versions. And then we have the other heroes. We have a unit of repentance. It was re-added. I believe it wasn't in the campaign at least, except for Midna. I wanted it to be recruitable. So it's fixed the officers too. They were bugged. They had the wrong texture in use in every version from 10 to 12 until 4.6. It never fixed. They looked really bad in the face. They were fixed. Here we have Prince Sant, the unique model. He also has the Twili infantry bodyguard. He is only used in the campaign by the rebels. So you'll only fight him if you play as Midna in the Twilight Realm. Here's the other bodyguard of Sant, of King Sant, the Shadow Assassins. They are also used as their assassin on the map. There's the unique strat model. It looks like this for the assassin of the Twili. So these are like Shadow Messengers but bigger, with slightly different style, and they are red. The only red unit in the game. Here is King Sant. This is his bodyguard. You only get this unit for Sant. They are not recruitable. They are not available for anyone else. Then you have Repentance here. It's the bodyguard of Midna. I don't know where Midna is. It should be the bodyguard of her. there is Mida. She looks very different. She is the repentant border guard. They were unique to our border guard previously. I wanted the unit back as a unit. Why I didn't add a shadow messengers is because they don't fit with their color scheme. I still kept them as Sans border guard. They were cool and they are better than the other units. So they are unique as a border guard. What else do we have? There should be Queen Midna somewhere too. Prince Sant. Here is Queen Midna. She shows her hair and has the Twilight ruling gear, I guess. Anyway, she has the bodyguard of the shadow messengers here. They are smaller, slightly than the shadow assassins. There's quite a few returned heroes and units there. And we have these guys. Carrie's ugly. She was in 4.6, the new version of her. She looks way better. And then we have Fallen Sage, the new version. Much better than the old model. She was in 4.6 but not in the campaign and not in custom battle. She was commented out so people probably didn't know she was in the game. She was intended for Hyrule Historia missions. It's the model Nap used in the missions, and unlike most other models, they are actually rigged. So this model actually existed as an HD model. Compared to the old version, she looks less like an anime character and looks way better, in my opinion. Looks cooler. And we have a Gitta with the bodyguard of Gohma caretakers. This unit crashed in 4.6. Had to replace the animation. This is the new Gitta. Okay. Is there anyone else? Yeah, they have the giant spider, the matriarch. Here. It's bigger than the other one and cooler. And then there should be Meadow somewhere, infested Meadow. But I can't see him. He might be hiding somewhere. Okay, and then we can check these guys. Kingdom of Ikana, the old models. It's the alive units, they were re-implemented. The Footman and the Boltman. You can see that they are not humans, they are more like chimpanzees or something. Monkeys, kind of monkey people. They're cursed into undeath, so they are undead in the campaign, but they were monkeys before. Humanoid monkeys, they could speak and such. Smart monkeys. Okay. And we have the heroes. He goes to Ikana when he was alive. And they have some guides. General Kita, and he was alive. And they should have Princess Gomez too. She's smaller. She's still a single unit entity. All of the heroes had strat models in Classic, but I didn't add that because the alive units are not in the campaign. Okay, and yeah, they are new for the custom battles in this version. So they were cut in 4.6, but they are also in Classic Ultimate and in the older versions. But heroes were cut in Classic Ultimate from the custom battles, except the giant ones. So I guess the Ikana is cut, but not the others. Not the alive version. I believe all the alive units and heroes are in custom. Yeah. Okay, what else? That's the Twili. This is the Gohma. Okay, we'll check these guys. Couldn't find me though. Here's Demise. We have the smaller Demise. He looks cooler here. This is essentially the same guy. He has a cape. Then we have Demon Demise. The old model but still looked good. He was kind of high-poly due to the cinematics. All the cinematic models were higher poly than the other ones. Then we have the heroes here, like General Ugolan, but they looked fatter here. I kind of prefer the females of them. How she looked in the older where she was slimmer and more like less fat, but she's still good, and they still look great. The males still look cool. So yeah, the HD models are bigger and fatter, like the official models. And we have King Ganon himself. He looks cool. Looks like Ganon, but he's not as big anymore. I believe in official Zelda games he might be big and he might be small. It depends on the game. Usually he's big, so I think it's more accurate that he will be a giant, but he is more stable when he's not a giant, I guess. Especially since without them to do EP tool, the giants crashed on Windows 10 and 11 without the tool, so it made sense to limit the giants down a bit. Okay, they had some other heroes too. King Balblin. He has a new model. Battle. An HD model. Looks very similar, but it's different. New mount too for the bows. And now they are melee cavalry here. I should have Girahim somewhere too. There's Girahim. Essence of the Sword of Demise. Single unit entity. It's an old model, but it looks good. It was used in cinematics. It has higher polygon count too. Then some of the other older models. And we have some Lissalfos. New units here. Vinalfos Footman. New ones. Talik the Red. No, I don't know. I think that's an officer. This is Talik the Red, and he has the bodyguard of Vinalfos Footman. Okay, I was right. And then we have the Songsayers. Nodded White, their queen. Look completely different here. This was look really cool there, and I like that they are much stronger in the campaign now. We have Vacket the Winged. He's similar but still a new model. It's bodyguard, it's a new model, but they are very similar in their colors. Okay. Then we have Okakira the Green, the new models for the tree hoppers here. For himself. In the old mod he had a Kokiri garment or Kokiri clothes, like he had killed Kokiri and taken on their clothes. Here it looks a bit different. So the Lissalfos, they should have the Trinix turtle too. It's an old model, unused in the old mod and added for the first time in my sub mod. But it was in the files, just never added. It's using the animations of an elephant, so it worked pretty well. And can fire a fire beam. In lore they can fire. You can fire an ice beam from the blue head and a fire beam from the red. But in Medieval 2 you can only have one projectile, so I added on a fire beam, there were no ice beams. So made sense. Here's the flamethrower. Okay, and that's the Lissalfos. And I think that's all of them. We can exit now. I needed to start a battle, because otherwise when I go to Hyrule Historia it might crash. Can't enter the custom battle menu and then go to the campaign, it will crash. You can't enter the campaign menu and then go to custom battle without it crashing. So that's why I needed to start a battle, so that we can check the Hyrule Historia finally. We have select mission, the Ancient Age. All the old missions. I suggest playing Classic Ultimate for these missions. Rise of Ganon. Twilight missions are included here and in Classic, but they don't work, unfortunately. The Garrett of Wars will work too. All the way until the Crime of Idols, mission 29. Then we have the new missions for the Return of Sulcaris. So none of these missions work in this version of the mod, so you can't play them. They were just included because I wanted to make them work, but I failed. I still kept them. If you want to play these missions, the 29 here, play Classic, but you can't play the Twilight missions because they don't work. The Realm of Sulcaris is new. The Fallen Sage arc is new for this version. So you have more missions, but they don't work currently. Like for example, Princess and Potents. I tried to make them work. We have Meadow, other Gohma, Highlands, including female civilians, the only female Highland unit in the game except the heroes. Okay, so that's new missions that won't work. The only mission I could make working was this one. I already made a video where I played it. Hyrule's final stand. The ancient being known as Majora has risen from Termina, seeking the source of power that the goddess is left in Hyrule. Majora claims a Triforce and destroys the divine relic to symbolize his power. Now an alliance of Highlands, Goron, Sora and Kokiri must march onto Majora's new throne and stop the deity from pulling the moon out of orbit. And this actually works. We have all the heroes. Princess Cetralina Cella 5, Link out of King Gustav, Rauru Sage of Light and Impa Sage of Shadows. And this battle is in the Highland group, and they also have Midna as an officer for Link. We have the Gorons led by Darunia Sage of Fire, Princess Ruta Sage of Water, Saria Sage of Forests, and we have Majora, Demons, and Disciples of Majora and Seekers of Majora. And we have this mix of units, Kokiri, Sora, Highlands, Gorons, led by Majora, Cultist, Morella, Noens and Zelda 3. Okay, so I added Zelda as a bonus hero here. So I already saw this battle, just to prove that it works. It's the only mission you can play in 4.7. Don't try to play the others. If you do, you will be returned to the menu, and then you won't be able to start any mission unless you exit the game and restart it. But if you start this mission first, it will work. If you start any of the others, you will need to exit the game before you can start this mission. But in the old version, in Classic Ultimate, you can play the other missions except the Twilight missions. You can't play the Fallen Sage missions. They are intended for this version, but couldn't get them to work for some reason. I just get thrown back to the menu for some reason. A cool picture here of Majora and Majora Prime, which is essentially the destroyed Hyrule Prime capital. So originally Majora was supposed to take over the capital of Hyrule, but it's easier for the campaign to just add them in a different location. So there's Zelda here. We have others. Link. This time Link shouldn't be bugged. I mean, Midna shouldn't be bugged. You do not have the Kamic on. It doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it fails to activate. Like now. Sometimes when I start a battle, you should activate it before the battle starts. Then it usually works, but sometimes it will not work anyway. Okay, we won't play this battle. But kind of wanted to. Check the units a bit. These are Hyrule Knights, Sora Mages, Kuri Minutemen. There is Zelda with her Ironclad Leeds bodyguard. And by the way, I've changed the timer of the plaza in both classic and in this mod, but the classic version isn't released yet, and the 4.7 version isn't released, but Undying Nephalim released this version of the mod when he feels like it, and he said he was gonna wait a little bit more so I could play test the mod, so that if there are any more bugs they could be fixed first, because otherwise I would need to upload a new version, and because he's the only one moderating the page of Hyrule War at ModB, the official page of the mod. That this means that if we need to update the mod, he would need to upload it again, and he's very busy. He wouldn't want to, you know, constantly update the mod for every single fix. So I need to play it a bit to see if there are any bugs. That UI bug we saw previously is unfortunately not a bug that I can fix. You can see that this Kokiri officer have a bugged kind of backpack, but it fit Majora to some degree, so I don't know if I'm gonna change that, to be honest. Actually fit with the purple colors there. Might be visual glitches in the mod, or there might be some units that cause CTD, but I think all the CTD units have been fixed and all the visual glitches except that Kokiri officer. Remember now that I saw it when I played it previously and I forgot to fix it. I did fix mid now, and the actual model, it was also bugged, I believe. It's the backpack that wasn't fixed. Okay. So I lost track of the hero. Anyway, let's exit. Alright. So yeah, I was supposed to play test some before he will upload the mod, because if I play test and find bugs and then I fix them, then I will then upload the mod to my Google Drive, replacing the old upload, and Nep is gonna upload the mod to ModB through my Google Drive. He uses the link from my Google Drive to upload the mod. But yeah, I will have to play test a bit. I was gonna play, but instead I ended up doing this long video of showing all the changes and stuff. It's way longer than I had intended. I wanted it to be like 1 hour. I've probably spoken for 3 hours or 4. Anyway, it took way too long in the faction selection screen at the beginning, where I spoke too much about each faction, and then did too much in the campaign too. So yeah, it's a long video, but it's a update video of Hyrule War version 4.7. It's an update to the June 22nd, 2017 4.6 release of the official version of Hyrule War. So Undying Nephalim, or IceCreamMan, his real name is Jason Lindsay, he released the latest version of the official mod Hyrule War on June 22nd, 2017. And this is a official update of that version, and he is about to upload it on ModB, but is waiting a bit for me to be able to play test a bit, so we can see that there are no more serious bugs, especially the CTD bugs or crash to desktop bugs that crash the game to the desktop. But also visual bugs would be good if we fix them too, if there are any. But I believe that most or all bugs have been fixed, except maybe that backpack of the Kokiri unit. But I will start a campaign with the Church of Majora and play a bit so that we can be certain that there are no bugs. I will also start battles as all the heroes to make sure that they look good. We saw that in I know that in custom battle they look good, but they load their models through the edu file in custom battle, while in the campaign they have different entries, so the entries in the campaign might still be wrong even if the edu file is correct. But I think I've fixed all of them now. We will play a bit and then report to Undying Nephalim that if there are no more bugs. If there are bugs, we will re-upload the mod after we have fixed them, and yeah, then we will just re-upload it and send the new link to Undying Nephalim. But if there are no bugs, we will report that after a while of playtesting, and then he will upload the mod. So this version is essentially finished, but needs some playtesting just to be sure that there are no game-breaking bugs or such. I've already played it for 5 hours as the Church of Majora a week or so back, and I didn't find any bugs with the Majora faction, the Stalfos faction, or the Moblins, the ones that I were fighting. But there were a few bugs. I had sent the mod to a guy named Radar, who played Classic Ultimate previously, and he wanted to play this too. He played Hot Seat as everyone and reported to me how the campaign went and any bugs he found. He was the one that told me about the 2K slingers crashing the game, so I had to change their animation to fix them. But he also told me about Bigoron being 3 in battle. They needed a different unit number in the EDU. It was fixed. And then he told me about the very serious CTD bug where General Kazak in the campaign would crash the game when you tried to start a battle with him. It's the same bug that happened with Ruto, Kotak and many others in 4.6. I had fixed Ruto and Kotak after reading on a Reddit that they were bugged. And then I fixed them by correcting their battle model lines in the desk strat file because they had the wrong name. So when the game tried to start a battle, it would try to load the hero model, but they had the wrong name, so it would crash. I fixed that issue with Ruto and Kotak, and then I fixed it for all the factions below them. Gerudo is the second faction in the desk strat file, and I fixed Kotak, so that means I had fixed every faction except the Kingdom of Hyrule. But I believed wrongly that all the heroes of Hyrule worked, because I had a false memory in my head that General Kazak worked in battle. He did in the custom battles, but he didn't in the campaign. So I got the report from Radar that Kazak crashed the game when he tried to start a battle with Kazak, and so I fixed that too. So Nep already knows about this, but he said today that he would wait a bit longer with releasing the mod, just to make sure that there are no bugs. So yeah, I will have some time at playing myself too before it's uploaded. So we will start a campaign as the Church of Majora. I already know that the Stalfos and the Moblins and the Majora faction itself is fine, or are fine. But the other factions are a question mark. I will probably just try to start battles with all the heroes to see if they work fine. But Radar hasn't reported anyone else, so they should probably be fine. Okay, but thank you for watching, and this is Hyrule to Lore, the official mod, version 4.7. It's finished and ready for release, and will only need some playtesting before Undying Nephalim, the original creator, now known as IceCreamMan, on the Hyrule Conquest Discord, will upload it to his moddable page, the official page for Hyrule to Lore, because I didn't want it on the Hyrule to Lore Classic Ultimate page, which is my page for the mod, for the sub-mod, which is essentially an improved version of the oldest version of Hyrule to Lore. It has older models for most factions and has more scripts, but way slower end turn times too. And unlike this mod, is more unstable. I believe the campaign map is almost as stable. You can have 1 or 2 crashes in 140 turns. It's pretty stable, but in this mod you have 0 crashes on the map. So this is even more stable. And as for battles, as we saw, there were a few heroes that crashed the game when we tried to start the battle. But I think those issues have been resolved here. In Classic, you have annoying CTD post-battle, where if you fight battles, you can randomly crash after battle when you execute enemies, and sometimes even when you do not execute them. So it's less stable. It's impossible to not have crashes in Classic Ultimate. You will have to save before and after every battle. In this mod, I think we might actually have a stable mod. It will be as stable as Warcraft Total War. Okay, so this is the official version, 4.7, to be released soon by the official creator. Thank you for watching, and Codeman over on the Hyrule Conquest Discord helped with this version. The 2D art, he did the new art and such for the UI and the buildings and the settlement levels. Alright, thank you for watching, bye.